How's it going, boys, girls, and squirrels, and welcome to part 2 of Black Butler, Book of Murder. Not gonna lie, wasn't the biggest fan of part 1. Book of Circus was such a marked improvement over season 1 of Black Butler, and it really felt like Book of Murder was kind of taking a step back into season 1 territory. It just felt like it was regressing in every facet, which is disappointing. The animation wasn't as good as Book of Circus, the writing wasn't as good as Book of Circus. I just didn't find myself as gripped by either the plot or the quality of Book of Murder as I had found myself being gripped by Book of Circus. But maybe part 1 was just the setup. Maybe it was all building up to some epic, climactic part 2. We're never gonna know if we don't watch it, so let's get into it.
A vicar, eh? How nice.
It's not that nice. You guys currently have him tied up and accused of murder. Like, let's not get too excited about making a new friend here.
Only a 13th man could have committed the murders, and he has no alibi. He's our culprit.
Unfortunately, that is utter nonsense, Mr. Woodley.
This is so clearly just Sebastian's voice actor doing a deeper Sebastian, right? Or is that the point? Is this actually just Sebastian in disguise? Because it's clearly Sebastian's voice actor, his eyes are red, and CL apparently already knows him.
Oh, that's the owl Sebastian gave me!
I've drugged him to keep him asleep, but yes.
Yeah, but he also kept him in a briefcase for God knows how long. Are you sure this thing's actually still alive? I wish he didn't drug it. I wish Jeremy just walked into this manor with a briefcase that was just thrashing and screaming. Sir, we have you accused of murder due to your highly suspicious activity. What? Murder? But I'm not suspicious in the least! Why is your handbag screaming? Because it's fancy!
Because he had somehow predicted his own death.
As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter what's on that bit of paper. It isn't enough to prove he's not our killer.
I can't believe this guy got changed into an arguably worse bow tie. Purple horizontal stripes? Did nobody raise you?
What's the date?
Yesterday. It's for the evening of 12 March. Give me a sec. It says the name of the theater.
Why is it taking Finney an incredible amount of brain power to read this ticket? Can he not read? I get that a lot of peasants of this time weren't very educated, and so if he can't read, that makes sense, and that's fine. But, like, he shouldn't be out of breath doing it. Yesterday, it's for the evening of 12 March. Oh, give me a second. And it's for a play, I believe. Like, I don't know, relax. Hand it to somebody else if you're gonna pass out over it.
The Lyceum is running the lady now.
It was past the 10 o'clock hour when the show ended. Even if I'd given the driver a sovereign, the trip here would have taken 2 hours by hansom cab, or... Interesting.
How long would it have taken by ugly cab? Does a hansom cab travel faster or slower than a cab with a good personality?
Is that the truth you were speaking of?
Just the quick thinking I'd expect from a novelist. I must read one of your books someday.
Wow, this dinner party turned murder mystery has really become a great networking event for this guy.
Callus on your middle finger from writing, and the blue tinge to your sleeve. The last comes from washing a shirt that's been smeared with ink. Shoddy laundering, if you ask me.
Oh, never mind. Jeremy just embarrassed his ass in front of the entire dinner party. No author wants to get Sherlock Holmes in front of all of his friends. He wants to be the one doing the Sherlock Holmesing. Little did Danny know that this would be the most aggressive foreshadowing he's ever performed on this channel.
Smells are frequently of the utmost importance in solving a case. If the bodies are kept together, their scents will intermingle.
Oh, Jeremy's about to sniff out the murderer like he's McGruff the crime dog.
All right, Sebastian. It's time for us to move you now.
Very well. I shall examine each corpse in order according to the time of death.
This is so clearly Sebastian, right? Like, even if they got a different voice actor to voice Jeremy, something about, like, his face and the way, like, his mannerisms and just the way he's being sassy about everything, it can't not be Sebastian. Or it's gotta be, like, his father or something, right?
But there are scratches all around the keyhole. Only a man who was very careless or one who was very drunk would leave such marks.
Or he drops it a bunch, you know? Maybe it just slips out of his hands when he's putting on his clothes in the morning. My phone costs like $1,500 and is covered in scratches. Doesn't mean I'm an alcoholic. There is a Sherlock Holmes parody video that does this exact same bit as a joke, and so I just can't take this seriously at all.
How could you possibly know about the drinking? Shot in the dark. Good one, though. Power connection. Tiny little scuff marks around the edge of it. Every night he goes to plug in to charge, but his hands are shaking. You'll never see those marks on a sober man's phone. Never see a drunk's without them.
Then, of course, there's the rather strong smell of alcohol. He had a stiff drink shortly before his death.
Oh, then what was all that pocket watch nonsense for? You don't have to flex your galaxy brain at us every time somebody asks you a question. Yes, yes. Clearly the victim was an alcoholic. My god, you can get that all just by looking at him? His eyes are dilated, which is unusual for a corpse unless they have alcohol in their system. He's also club-footed and left-handed, which gives him a 78% chance of having the gene for alcoholism. Also, he's holding a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Capture him we must, and with some haste, before any more lives can be lost. No human can leave in this storm, after all.
You arrived in this storm? Oh. All right, Jeremy. Okay, I get it. No human could travel in this storm, but I mean, if, I don't know, that person was some kind of, hell of a butler. I'm glad I'm not the only one absolutely not buying Sebastian's death.
Those supplies, bean soup is about the best we can do. But that'd be a disgrace to put on the young master's table.
CL shouldn't be expected to continue hosting an awesome dinner party. Like, if bean soup is all they have left, everyone should be happy eating bean soup. What, like, why is CL being expected to both solve this murder and continue hosting a party?
I've never heard of that!
It's an imitation meat made from the beans. If you prepare it correctly, the diners may not even notice there is a difference.
Okay, well, if this guy isn't Sebastian, could he, like, I don't know, maybe replace him? At least Jeremy's nice to the servants. Like, he's teaching them a solution while also making them all feel smart. Sebastian would have just grabbed the ladle from Baldroy and been like, give me that, you fucking fucker. Fucking poor, lazy-ass piece of shit. You know, Sebastian's classic famous catchphrase.
'Cause she's 12 years older than Mr. King.
12 years older?
And you know what they say about vampires? Well, they don't ever age none, do they?
Oh my god, she's the vampire. Wasn't she the one who suggested vampires? I feel like if you're the only murderous vampire in a room, the last thing you want to do is get vampires on people's minds. You know? Like, if I'm a werewolf at a dinner party and everyone's wondering who murdered somebody, wouldn't it be pretty suspicious if I'm sitting there like, well, one thing we know for certain, it's not werewolves. Because then everybody's like, yeah, Danny, no one was thinking about werewolves until now. Nobody ever thinks about werewolves.
I am afraid there is a simple explanation for what you saw, though.
Oh, is there? Really?
Yes, there is. And I shall reveal it to you this evening.
What? Reveal it now! You got everyone in here thinking vampires are eating people at this party. Don't wait to reveal who the killer is just so you can make a big spectacle out of it. Also, if you know who the killer is, maybe don't just sit on that information. You know? Like, maybe just go stop him the second you figure out who it is. I'm happy to report that I've discovered who the killer is. Really? Well, that's great. Tell me. What, here? Now? No. What, here in the wine cellar? No. I'll tell you later. What? Why? Well, it wouldn't be very hype if I just told you right now, would it? And as you know, evidence that isn't hype doesn't hold up in a court of law in England. Yeah, I fucking hate that law.
What is it you need me to do?
Not very much, my lord. Simply undress.
Yep, Jeremy Sebastian, all right. You know how some people have fuck me eyes? Jeremy's got I'm gonna fuck with you eyes, which are eyes I've only ever seen on one other man.
Do no more than breathe until I give you the word. So much as a twitch, and you may find your life forfeit to our investigative gamble.
What is this plan? Under no circumstances does CL need to be naked for this plan. All of the other victims were fully clothed.
We've got the guilty party in custody, all right.
Good heavens!
Allow me to introduce our killer.
That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing for everybody involved, including me. How did I not figure out it was a snake? It's like so obvious in retrospect. Can you believe I'm such a nerd that I was like, yep, it's a vampire. That's a vampire. Couldn't be anything else. Definitely vampire. This was literally a Sherlock Holmes twist too. Like, there's a story called Sherlock Holmes and the Mystery of the Gold Bangle or whatever, and it's literally just this. I'm still keeping my theory that Jeremy's Sebastian though. Like, who else have we seen tie snakes into perfect knots? Honestly, maybe that's why the snake's here. You know, he showed up to get his revenge.
The black mamba. It is native to southern Africa, and its venom contains potent neurotoxins.
Untie me! Untie me, you bastard! I'll bite you all! I'll bite each and every one of you sick fucks for nodding my brothers!
The true killer gave it a whiff of the Earl's scent and trained it to kill based on that. But in the end, a snake is a snake.
Hey, amen, I'll drink to that, brother. In the end, a snake is a snake, and it is our God-given duty to tie each and every one of those slippery bastards into the tightest knot we can manage.
Wouldn't it, Ranmao?
I'm glad you're not dead.
Can't you put on something decent?
This is this woman's, like, third line in the entire series. And it's a boobs joke. Really paving the way for strong female character representation, eh, Black Butler?
What I'd like to know is how the snake got into the country at all. As far as I'm aware, it's illegal to carry poisonous snakes on trade ships.
Good law. Great law. Transporting a venomous snake anywhere should be illegal in every country. Here's a situation that should never occur at any border. Sir, I'm gonna need to know exactly what it is you're transporting. Yeah, I got about, to 20 to 30 venomous snakes. Oh, you know what? That's actually fine.
Scientists recently discovered something called tetrodotoxin. I'm told that if you refine it a certain way, it allows you to enter a state of suspended animation.
Okay. Sure, Black Butler, whatever. I'll just believe you. It'd be way more exhausting not to.
Herr von Siemens faked a chest wound. He then drank the poison, disposed of the container, and pretended to die.
What a chaotic man. Von Siemens just became my idol. What a crazy move to show up to a dinner party with a vial of almost poison just to stir up some drama. What a queen.
He seemed to lose all sense of control when he drank, so... Perhaps the real killer sold it to him as a practical joke, suggesting they give everyone a good fright or the like.
Oh, Von Siemens was pranked to death? That's even better.
We can't possibly. The shards are too small.
Finished.
That was... impressive.
What a maniac. I'd accuse him of murder just for doing that. That was such serial killer energy. Putting a shattered glass bottle back together on the spot? Are you kidding me? Like, is that not lunatic energy?
You're a murderer! No, I've never seen that before, I swear it!
You framed a child for grisly murder? That's despicable.
I like how it sounds like he's just disappointed in him. Dude, you framed a child for murder? Come on, man, you're better than that. This isn't the tone you use when you find out somebody's a murderer. This is the tone you use when your friend who says he's done with nicotine buys a new jewel.
So then what was the bottle of dark red liquid the lady had if it wasn't blood?
Quiet, Vinny! That doesn't matter anymore!
What the fuck are you trying to cover up, Mayrin? I don't care what your reason is. When people are like hashing out the evidence of a murder case, definitely don't cover somebody's mouth mid-sentence. That's like shouting bomb on an airplane. You know, like, regardless of context, it's just not gonna be a good look.
Apparently the presence of this bottle among your things, combined with your youthful appearance and stunning beauty, led her to suspect that you were a vampire.
Can you imagine somebody coming up to you and being like, "Oh, terribly sorry. It seems that a mixture of your striking beauty and youthful aura has led everybody here to believe you were some type of vampire." Oh, well, that's quite alright. Actually, you thought I was a what?
Well, that was an odd thing to say.
Lorsqu'il essaie de boire sans que passer sa contrôle.
No, absolutely not.
No way. No chance. No. It's just, I saw the body. There's no way.
I came for the truth, Jeremy the Vicar. Or is it... Sebastian the Butler?
Dude, no way. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be fucking kidding me! You're telling me that Sebastian the Butler was also... I can't even say it! It's that ludicrous! I don't know how I'm ever gonna consume media again. I've reached peak fiction. Sebastian the Butler was... But what... Here's what doesn't make sense about that. One's Sebastian... and the other is Jeremy.
At least not in this instance, he wasn't. Don't let it trouble you. That carriage is where he belongs.
Okay, so Ciel staged this murder to frame Woodley. But so then did Ciel and Sebastian, like kill 2 other people? Like, somebody stabbed Von Siemens to death. And then also, there was the blonde kid.
Sebastian the butler and Jeremy the vicar were both such unbelievable characters, yet they left no room for doubt. It was too neat.
I love that I'm getting this big unraveling of how this guy discovered that Jeremy and Sebastian were the same man. Like, it's so funny that this show thinks this is a crazy twist. But how did you deduce that Jeremy and Sebastian were one and the same? It was like so obvious. Yeah, sorry about that.
What made me so improbable?
I first noticed it when Herr von Siemens was murdered.
Did this dude just turn Scottish for a second?
To do nothing but watch. And when they suspected the Earl, you didn't offer so much as a word in his defense.
Is this voice actor Scottish? Are they doing this on purpose? Like, is there gonna be a twist where it turns out this guy wasn't who he says he is?
It seemed as if my young lord wished to take a wait-and-see approach, and after all, it is for me to simply follow his lead.
Stop taking a wait-and-see approach to crimes. That's how you get more crimes.
As I suspected, it's the Queen's butler. The Earl Grey.
Okay, gotcha. Holy shit, this has been tough to follow. It probably hasn't been that tough to follow, actually. I'm sure everybody watching right now is getting frustrated watching me try and piece this shit together. The problem is that I have content brain turned on right now. So like, 80% of my brain is focused on like keeping this video entertaining and making jokes, while the other 20% is like loosely following along to this mystery plot.
The look on his face was quite satisfying. With timely manner. It may have been a petty sort of revenge.
That's fun. I like how Sebastian arranged his body in a way that was different from how Earl Grey left him, just to fuck with him. Also, just realized that this character's name is Earl Grey. So this show can go fuck itself.
You think you can ignore my orders?
He deliberately wore his ring, knowing full well he would be striking me. Further evidence of his cruelty.
I like how they both turn this whole dinner party into an excuse to fuck with people. Sebastian and Ciel are the most chronically bored people I've ever seen.
This will go much easier if you don't struggle.
Don't even try to tell me this isn't a convoluted plan. This is the most ridiculous scheme in the history of planning things. Imagine pitching this part of the plan to anybody. There was no way to get around putting this owl in a mid-air chokehold and syringing it into submission. No simpler way of doing any of that.
I must hurry back to the wine cellar.
You better have a damn good reason for stopping in your tracks so hard you produced a Scooby-Doo sound.
Poor dear creature, I can't let you in. I believe there is a saying about rain and cats.
I've never seen Sebastian become so truly overwhelmed. No amount of demonic butler expertise could have possibly prepared him for this horde of cats. I also like how we're getting a whole backstory behind why Sebastian has a dresser full of stray cats. Like, did we really need this? I was so willing to just accept that he's been hoarding them.
Then the ticket was actually a fake? It seems so authentic.
It was. The genuine article purchased in London. I slipped away from the party.
I love that Sebastian actually went to this play. That's awesome. This is a necessary detail.
You're welcome to verify it at the theatre's sales counter.
The ticket had to be real or it wouldn't be useful. It and the owl were props necessary to make Jeremy appear more convincing.
There isn't a single prop on Earth that could have convinced me that Jeremy was a real man.
Wait a moment. How do you explain the fact that Jeremy and I examined your corpse together?
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
I didn't have time to inform you, my lord. I'll explain in detail later.
This is so chaotic. I love how we get to see just how insane Sebastian's plan is behind the scenes. Like, he's just constantly sprinting between being alive, dead, and Jeremy, all while trying not to get sued by Scooby-Doo. Like, this is great. This is the best part of the entire special. I love seeing Sebastian be like, "Now, if you'll excuse me, I must go prepare supper." I also love those 2 frames of him looking incredibly distressed. Like, dude looked like a fucking ditto.
He made you prepare everything, made you set the stage for him, and then he tried to frame you for murder.
Why on earth do you keep saying murder like that? Why do they waterboard this voice actor every time he gets to that word? He wasn't Scottish in part 1.
Her Majesty has a somewhat perverse sense of humor. I have always had quite the passion for playing games, though. I invited Woodley to serve as my scapegoat.
Okay, so the Queen of England was pissed off at CL for the events that went down in Season 3. So she told him to host this dinner party so that she could then frame him for murder. Anticipating this, CL invited Woodley, who's like a bad dude, and then twisted the narrative so that it seemed like he was the one doing the murders. Cool, got it, I'm caught up. Jesus Christ, what a scheme.
You had only to open your eyes to the possibility.
Yes. You see it, don't you, that I am not human, but something else entirely.
This dude has been sitting here for 20 actual real-world minutes, and only just now started to wonder if Sebastian is inhuman. What about 15 minutes ago, when Sebastian said he literally had to get stabbed twice to pull this off?
But now you must try to forget your hard-won knowledge. Eh, Doctor?
See what I mean about these two being chronically bored? They just spent a half hour expositing at this guy about stuff he certainly shouldn't know about, solely because they weren't doing anything else at the time.
An experience such as that will inspire him to write. I remember how thoroughly you enjoyed his previous work.
Oh, never mind, they did it because they're huge fans of his books. Arguably a worse reason to absolutely obliterate this man's faith in God. This dude was so traumatized over the course of this dinner party, he became almost Scottish.
I wrote furiously, like a man possessed. More and more stories of the type I thought I would never write again.
Shut the fuck up. He was Arthur Conan Doyle. That's why they did the Sherlock Holmes twist. This show was so lucky when I decided to keep watching it after the Earl Grey bullshit. The audacity to pull something like this.
I kept quiet because you seemed to be avoiding the subject in front of Dr. Arthur. But you still have yet to explain the murder of Mr. Phelps.
Oh yeah, some dude like accidentally died during all this, huh? I'm a dumb guy. It makes sense that I would miss something like that. Or just entirely forget about it. Seems pretty whack for Arthur Conan Doyle not to have picked up on it, though.
May I present the true culprit behind Phelps's murder?
Holy shit, I was right about the snakes! They're back! They're actually back to avenge their knotted brethren!
Please help me!
Oh, bother. It seems we have an uninvited guest in the manor.
Sebastian, don't scamper away. If you don't want to help him, that's fine, but you never prance away from a dying man.
That's why we joined the circus troupe. We were sent to determine what was happening.
Kidnapping children?
How the fuck was Snake kept out of the loop? They had this whole child kidnapping scheme going on, and not once did they have the man who can literally control snakes help them do it. Why even have Snake around? You got the one guy in the entire troupe with actual powers, and you're not having him help you commit crimes.
Snake, stay. Come and live at my manor.
What are you suggesting?
I can't believe he's adopting Snake right now. Is Pluto even still here? Whatever happened to that thing? I'm not calling it a plot hole or anything. I'm well aware I skipped a full season and a half of this show. I'm just saying, it's weird he hasn't been around. Oh my god, I forgot everybody thought Sebastian was dead still. Can't wait for him to burst out of his coffin and cause 3 more deaths out of sheer terror. This is the worst gravestone. First of all, there's no date on it. The caption's a straight up insult, and there's a typo in it. There's no space between Heaven and Anne. What the fuck, guys? Yeah, sick gravestone, everybody. Looks like y'all really missed him.
That's strange, the grave bell's ringing.
If I were at a funeral and the grave bell started ringing, I'd I just, not deal with it. Can you imagine how pissed off the person in the grave would be after you dug them up? What the hell, guys? You buried me? We thought you were dead. I was screaming, let go of me, I'm not dead. We thought you were talking in your sleep. You thought I was talking. Sleeping isn't dead.
I assume you're all... Oh.
I thought I'd lost another comrade! How could you do that to me?
Nobody's concerned about the fact that Sebastian was stabbed twice and legally dead for several days? No? Just gonna ignore the reason we were at this funeral to begin with? That's fine. They're probably all just appreciative that Sebastian isn't pissed off at them. And that is Black Butler, Book of Murder. Honestly, not good. It's weird because a lot of people are like, yo, Black Butler, Book of Murder, the best arc. Part 2, the best part of any arc. And it's just, this part is just a literal half-hour exposition explaining all the nonsense that happened. 10 minutes of it are Jeremy explaining why he's not the killer. So you got literally 40 minutes of exposition in this thing about a murder I didn't particularly care about. So that's a bummer. I hope Book of Atlantic is a little better, or at least on par with Book of Circus. Because Book of Circus I was into. I was into on the level I was into season 2 of Bungo Stray Dogs at least. But yeah, kind of disappointed. Not nearly as good as Book of Circus. But those are just my opinions. I'll never lie to you guys. I may be obnoxious and negative, but I'll never lie about my opinions. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Black Butler, Book of Murder. I'd like to hear, let me know if this is your favorite one. Let me know why. Let me know your favorite jokes from this video as well. It helps me make TikToks, Instagram Reels, blah, blah, blah. And I will see you guys next time.
Hold on to me, baby. Won't you come a little closer? Will I live for now? I wrote down what you said to me, baby, but